Hi, welcome to a tour of the new respiratory viruses dashboard. I'm about to share on screen the landing page for the dashboard. And as you can see, there's three main sections that you can find in it. The first one of them is the virological surveillance section, where we have laboratory data on samples and positive samples that come from the FluNet system. The second section is a syndromic surveillance section, which has epi data that comes from the flu ID. And then we have a third section, which is the country profile, in which we integrate both pages into one single page with a integrated country profile by country. Now, in this first page, we have some filters that we can use to interactively filter the data that we have down below. The first one of them is a date range selector, where you can pick a starting date and an end date to filter the information by a specific time period. Then you can also decide if you want to look at the data at the regional level, like by subregions, as you can see, or you can also pick one subregion in particular and then visualize the data by the countries of that specific subregion. You can also pick the surveillance type. You can select if you want to filter only sentinel data or non-sentinel, or watch both at the same time. Now, next up, we have a summary button. You can use this summary button to get a quick snapshot of the current situation by virus. As you can see, we have a tab for influenza situation, and then you can have a quick preview of the last year of data and the current trends that we have in the last 4 epi weeks. So you can use these boxes to quickly observe if there's a increasing or decreasing trend, and if the levels are high, low, or steady. Now, we have this same information for SARS-CoV-2 as well, and RSV 2. Then we also have a trends by country section, where we integrate all countries, and we can quickly get a snapshot of the percent positivity for each virus at the country level. Now, in the following section, we have a section dedicated for positive samples and percent positivity by epidemiological week. So in this section, you're going to find different subsections. The first one of them shows data visualizations, where you can see in the same plot the percent positivity for each virus. So you have influenza here, SARS-CoV-2, and RSV for each subregion. And you can view the same information by country if you pick one of these subregions. So we can select, for example, Central America, and then we get the details of each country from that subregion side by side, so we can easily compare. Now, in the coming sections, we have just visualizations specialized for each virus. So we have a influenza section where you can watch the positive samples and the percent positivity for all subregions and all countries. And then you have a map that allows you to see the current trends by country. In the SARS-CoV-2 section, you can visualize the same information, but for SARS-CoV-2. And we also have an RSV section and the other respiratory viruses section as well. Now, each of these sections has a summary table, which you can use to also consult how many tests were done per virus and how many positive samples were found. And you can view this information for any year in the past, and also filter the specific time period that you want to select and filter for the table. Now, next up, we have the syndromic surveillance section. So this is epi data from the flu ID system. Again, you can still filter data by date range and by subregion, but the data that we have here is on cases, on positive cases by SARI and ILI. So as you can see on the left, we have SARI cases by virus, and on the right, we have ILI cases by virus. Now, this information is now seen by subregion because we are watching at the regional level, but we can also filter by a specific subregion, for example, the Andean subregion, and then we can watch the data by each country that belongs to that subregion. And then we can easily filter SARI and ILI cases. Now, the second subsection of the syndromic surveillance is the SARI and ILI cases by age group. So again, we have side-by-side comparisons, and in this case, the data is grouped by age groups. And you can do the same type of filtering, where you can filter data by subregion, or you can also visualize it by country. Okay, moving on, the third subsection of the syndromic surveillance is a section dedicated towards SARI cases. So here we have data on SARI cases admitted to the ICU units, and we also have SARI cases that were deceased. So you can easily compare side by side both data by subregion and by country as well. Now, the last section of the dashboard, the country profile, as I mentioned, is an integrated section which we can use to combine both virological surveillance and syndromic surveillance sections in one single place for each country. Now, this section allows you to filter date range filter, but you can also select any country. So we can select a new one, and all the visualizations in this section will be dedicated towards the selected country. So we have a small virological surveillance section. We can filter by sentinel data, right? And also non-sentinel. And in this first plot that we have here, we can watch the positivity rate by epi-week for all 3 viruses, but we can also take a look at the samples on the same plot using the second tab. And we can also enable this tick here to visualize the last 4 epi-weeks, so we can analyze the current trends. Now, we can use the boxes here on top of the page to also visualize the percent positivity and trends in the last 4 epi-weeks as well. Now, in this second panel, in the virological surveillance section, we can watch also the influenza subtypes at the same time as we watch the percent positivity for influenza, and we can do the same for other respiratory viruses as well. Now, we have another subsection, the syndromic surveillance for the country profile, which has the same information, but now this is filtered towards the country that we selected. So you can watch the amount of positive cases by virus here, and also the positive cases by age group. And then you can also filter if you want to just visualize the ones for SARI or ILI. And in the last section, we have the SARI cases section. So we have plots on the SARI cases admitted to the ICU, and also the seized SARI cases as well. You can also visualize this data across the years, and that's the whole content for the country profile. Now, the fourth section of the dashboard is just an information section where you can find additional details on the data sources, how to contact our team to make any changes to the dashboard, and also some acronyms of the terms that we've mentioned in the dashboard. Now, some general notes of the dashboard. It is a very interactive tool. You can use your mouse to quickly browse the information, zoom in on the plots, and also you can use the hover features to consult the data just by hovering. Now, if you want to receive a guide on how to use and navigate through the dashboard and use the filters, you can also activate the guided mode. And this will guide you through each step on using the filters that we have enabled in the dashboard. And last, you can also change the language of the dashboard. So it's available in Spanish, Portuguese, French, and English. And you can easily update the dashboard language just by clicking on the language name. So that's a quick tour on the new respiratory viruses dashboard. Please find it available in the respiratory viruses link and also through the PAHO websites.